This problem, it needs to know how many grams of 2.5% hydrocortisone cream that should be mixed with 360 grams of 0.25% cream to make a 1% of hydrocortisone cream. Okay, and in order to solve this problem, we should first know something that's very important. Okay, let's see. Suppose that we have a solution that its density equals 1 grams per milliliters. Okay, and we have another solution that its density is 3 grams per milliliters. Okay, and we want to mix these two solutions together to get a solution which its density is 2 grams per milliliter. Okay, we need to mix this with this to get this. By looking at the resultant density, we could find that it is in the middle of this and this. Okay, 2 is in the middle of 1 and 3. So by logic, to make a solution that its density is in the middle of this and this, we should mix equal volumes of this solution and this solution. This is very simple. So we can mix 50 milliliters of this with 50 milliliters of this, or 100 milliliters of this with 100 milliliters of this. Or we can say it in a very simple way that we mix one part of this solution with one part of this solution. Okay, this is very easy because we or the number of the resultant solution or the density of the resultant solution is in the middle. Its number is in the middle of the density of this solution and the density of this solution. But what if we need to make a solution that its density is not in the middle, not exactly in the middle? The solution, for example, have a density of 2.8 grams per milliliter. So now our number is not is in the middle, right in the middle. It's somehow shifted towards the largest or density or the larger density. So by logic, we would, since it's somehow more shifted towards the larger density, we know that we would need a, a larger volume from that because the resultant density is more than the average, more than the number in the middle, which is 2. So we would need larger volume from this solution than this, but we can't calculate it easily. So in order to solve such problems, we use a method that is called allegation alternate method. Let's see how we would use this method to solve the type of problems and to solve our problem here of hydrocortisone cream. This method could be applied to liquids such as these liquids or solids or semi-solids as our example of hydrocortisone cream. So let's see how to solve it. Okay, to solve it we have to put our inputs like that. We have a solution which its density is 1 gram per milliliter and this other solution is 3 grams per milliliter. Okay, and we would mix them together to get a solution which density is 2.8 grams per milliliter. Okay, So in order to solve the problem, we subtract this number from this number, and we subtract this number from this number. So if we subtracted that number from that number, we would get 0.2. So we subtract that number from or subtract that number from that number and put the result here. Okay, so it goes like this, and we would do the same here. We subtract that from that, and we would get our result and put it here like that. So 2.8 minus 1 is 1.8. Okay, so that means that in order to get the resultant or this solution of the density here, we should mix 0.2 parts of this solution with 1.8 parts of this solution. Okay, or we can make it simpler and say that we could mix two parts with um, 18 parts. Okay, it's the same. We just multiplied this and this by 10. Okay, so we can say that we can mix 2 milli with 18 millis. Okay, so the total parts of this is 2 parts, and the total here is 20 parts. Okay, so suppose that we need from this solution 100 milliliters. How many millis should we take from this solution, and how many millis we should take from this solution? Now it's very simple. We have a solution that its density is 1 gram per milliliter, and the other is 3 grams per milliliter, and the resultant solution would have a density of 2.8 grams per milliliter. Okay, we should mix 2 parts of this solution with 18 parts of this solution, and the total of these 2 parts is 20 parts. Okay, we need 100 millis of this solution. So how many millis of this and how many millis of this we need? So we multiply 100 times 2 over 20, and we get that the number of millis we need from this solution is 10 millis. Okay, we can multiply also 100 times 18 over 20, and we get that the needed millis from this solution is 90 millis. Or we can simply subtract this 100 millis from this 10 millis, and we get the same result, which is 90 millis. Okay, let's apply this method again to our example here. It is the same, very easy. We have a hydrocortisone cream that its concentration is 2.5%. Okay, and we want to mix it with 360 gram of 0.25% cream, and the resultant cream would have a 1% hydrocortisone. Okay, so applying the same method, we subtract 1 minus 0.25, so we get here that we need 0.75 parts from the 2.5% hydrocortisone cream, and we subtract 2.5 minus 1, so we get 1.5 parts from. So the resultant or the total of this is 2.25 parts. So we would apply again what we had done here. Okay, so we have 2.5% of hydrocortisone cream. Okay, and 0.25% hydrocortisone cream, and the resultant would be 1%. Okay, we need 0.75 parts of this cream and 1.5 parts of this cream, and the total is 2.25 parts. Okay, we know that we need 360 grams of this cream of 0.25% cream. So we put it here. So we know that 360 grams of 1.5 parts is needed. So how many grams of 0.75 parts is needed? Very simple cross multiplication. We multiply 360 grams times 0.75 over 1.5. So we get that the needed grams is 180 grams. 180 grams of 2.5% hydrocortisone is needed. And that would be our answer. Okay? Hope that helps. Thank you.